what's happening? Who nominated us? Like, this is amazing, right? And we started digging in, and then we jump on a call. How were we nominated? Why? Under what circumstances? Like, the agency was so brand new. It's like our new clients just like literally thought that we were so awesome and nominated us to this Dubai thing, and we had to go to Dubai and all this stuff. As I'm on the call, it was legit a sales call. They were trying to pitch me into paying
for the price.
For the price.
Yeah, this is literally they're trying to sell authority. At a time, it did have authority to be a published author of one of these publications. A lot of people see it as an opportunity to profit of people that might not have the authority in their marketplace at the moment. So they try to sell you. And you know, there's many different ways too that you can now earn that authority. You can
Mr. Beast is a good example. He actually recorded a full-blown Feastables commercial, the chocolate brand that he has, to run on the Super Bowl for $7 million. And then last second, he was like, yeah, we're not running it. I don't think the money is worth it, because his publishing power is greater. And that's exactly what he did, right?
Yay.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Content is Profit. What's your take edition?
What's your take, baby? It's a good one. I like this one because we've chat about this stuff before.
I know. There was an episode, and as soon as I saw the title, I was like, Fonzie, we've talked about this. I'm like, oh, just read that tweet. Just read the tweet. And I was like, yes, this is what we're going to be talking about today.
That is right. So I'm going to kick off the episode here. No intro today. So welcome, guys, to Content is Profit. Today, we have a special topic for you. If you have actually, I don't know how to start. Scratch it. I had a whole intro thought out in my mind.
Why didn't you write it down? You're not following.
I was in the bathroom when I thought about it. And then my mind went to other things and forgot about it. But this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to pre-frame you like this. Have you seen those profiles of people that says Forbes 30 under 30, right? And you're like, wow, this person must be successful. You know, somebody with loads of authority, right? Or, you know, all these people that in their profile, they have like these accolades by legacy media. It's like, oh, published author at Forbes, for example. Well, you're in for a surprise. You might or might have not received in your inbox at some point somebody with a PR agency pitching you to be on one of these lists, right? We've been on that other end where we received that DM. Honestly, the first time I received it, I was like, huh. So that's why there's so many Forbes 30 under 30, right? I was like, there's way more than 30, first of all. Then I realized that they have categories. Of course, they're trying to make money. So you got to make loads of categories of Forbes 30 under 30. So more people can buy into it.
I think you're showing your hate too much towards that.
You can already talk, get my take pretty much. But
derailing.
This is what we're going to be talking about, right? Can legacy media still build influence? Or is legacy media dying? What is your take? Now, where did this come from? Came from a tweet from Christopehr Lochhead. For those that don't know who Christopehr Lochhead is, he's pretty much the top doggity dog of category design, right? He wrote a book. What is the book called? Category Design. Yeah, Category Design. And he used to be CMO, very big companies. Now he has a pretty epic podcast. I think it's called Lochhead Marketing. He is one of the thought leaders, I would say, in the marketing space. And his whole thing is category design, right? Niche down. Well, one of the books is Niche Down. And then he has the other one that is, again, related to category pirates. Either way, he published this actually minutes ago. I just read it. And we had a whole different episode prep. But we decided to go with this one. And I'm going to read the tweet right now. It says, a CEO friend asked me if he should go to a PR marketing smooth event with the legacy business and media. Here's my advice. Warning, I'm biased, and I think we are too, but for a reason. The bulk of legacy media is a waste of time. Here's why. I used to write for many of the biggest legacy business media outlets. Stopped 5+ years ago. Because almost no one reads it. Because it's mostly clickbait. And he has an example of a headline, what color socks Elon Musk wears? Fast Company and Inc. are so desperate for revenue. Now they charge entrepreneurs between $800 and $1,000 to win the award of being named on their best company list. Kind of like the example that we just gave, Forbes 30 over 30, under 30. Forbes charges experts $1,200 to write for them. Then they sell subscriptions to us so we can read the work of people who pay Forbes to publish it. So they make money from contributors and readers. Now, with ChatGPT/AI, the junk manufacturing media complex can make endless junk. Readers know this is garbage. That's why legacy business media is dying. Your best marketing ROI will come from building 1, your own content, 2, your own media, 3, your own thought leadership, and 4, your own direct relationship with prospects and customers. That's the episode. Goodbye. I mean, it's a pretty epic tweet.
Obviously, he's picking his sides, right? And for many that maybe if you haven't been exposed to any of this firsthand, it might seem a little foreign to where like, oh, wow, you see the covers of the magazine or on the website, it's like as seen on Forbes or I published for this publication, right? But it's interesting when you open the hood and you start seeing what happens, right? Where for you to be published in these platforms, you actually need to pay. And it's not a filter. It's like literally anybody can do it. And we had a recent example with, we're doing outreach. We want to make sure that we meet amazing people to bring them to a podcast. If they're experts in their field, we want to talk about that, right? If they're expert in publishing, we want to talk about that. And we came across a profile that their initial response to our invite was like, well, if you are willing to pay for Facebook ads, I'm happy to do it, right? And then they named the number of subscribers on YouTube. I'm like, first of all, that's not our main platform. Second of all, it has nothing to do because the people that are subscribers on YouTube are amazing and they follow the content, they love it. And third is like, why would we pay for this, right? And we started digging a little bit more on his profile, and he's one of those that are, Forbes 30 under 30, but he has no content whatsoever. I think it was like just one article.
Literally one. Like I looked him up on Forbes and I looked up his name and kind of like his articles that he has written in there. Had one article in there from like years ago.
So, part of me is enraged, right? Because how many people maybe fall into this false place where they're like, oh my gosh, I am putting this person in a pedestal. He's an authority, XYZ, because he's a Forbes published author, when in reality, it was just one article. We don't know, right? Even today with our own podcast, right? We publish more than 400 episodes. Are we expert in certain areas of publishing? Probably, right? But I will let the person that interacts with me, whether that's the audience or the clients that we work with, to be the judge of that. But I'm not going to be putting it everywhere like that. And I get it. It's a play to differentiate yourselves. It's a status play. So I guess you got to pick your side, right? And we've been tempted, right? I remember also about 3 years ago, I think the agency was brand new. We were starting with this and we get this email from an organization in Dubai and they're like, you guys have qualified or are winning this amazing marketing award of best marketing in the country or something like that.
I remember, I totally forgot about that.
And I was like, what? What's happening? Who nominated us? Like, this is amazing, right? And we started digging in and then we jump on a call with the people to kind of find out how were we nominated, why, under what circumstances. Like the agency was so brand new. It's like our new clients just like literally thought that we were so awesome and nominated us to this Dubai thing, and we had to go to Dubai and all this stuff. And as I'm on the call, it was legit a sales call. They were trying to pitch me into paying
for the price.
For the price.
Yeah.
So we could get this plaque and then pay for the trip to actually go to Dubai and be in this amazing networking event with people that we did not know, random industries.
Probably all people that were trying to pay for influence.
And they were like, this is going to be an amazing experience for you guys to get more clients. And I'm like, hey, can we stop the call right now? Like, are you guys pitching me on this? Like, if so, I'm not interested, right? And they continued to follow up and we continued to say no. And it really opened our eyes to this industry. So if you're out there, just beware that, maybe the people do the due diligence on the people that you are consuming your content for. If they have been publishing for years, if they have a record of thought leadership, like are the topics that they're talking about the real thing, Are they providing value to you, right? Do your homework before you actually trust some of these so-called experts, right? And I'm not batching the experts that are actually experts and maybe they pay to get a little bit more exposure. Absolutely, right? But there's some homework. There's some people out there that they just do this to be able to do that. And you know,
I want to add something in here real quick, right? Like this is literally they're trying to sell authority, right? Because like it says, legacy, right? Old school. At a time, it did have authority to be a published author of one of these publications. But now that weight is actually coming down, right? And a lot of people see it as an opportunity to profit of people that might not have the authority in their marketplace at the moment. So they try to sell you that authority. And you know, there's many different ways too that you can now earn that authority. You can borrow the authority by being a guest podcaster in somebody else's bigger platform, or you can borrow it by having your own platform and bringing people of high caliber into your platform, interviewing them, and then promoting that episode. But guess what? The problem too with borrowing that authority is that when other people are going to check you out, just like we did with this one guy, right? That we saw, dude, he doesn't have anything. He hasn't published. His one article is from like 2020, right? Is where like this guy was, you know, it's a fake. So what happens if you borrow authority but don't have anything to back it up? That perception immediately falls, shut down, and you lose the trust. But then if you are consistently publishing, right, like the 5 tips that Christopehr Lochhead gives in here in his tweet, right? Your own content, own media, own thought leadership, own direct relationship with prospects and customers. If you have those in place, right, you earned the authority. And then when they go and look it up and they see that you can back it up, or you have backed it up with your content and what you've put out there into the world, guess what? That perception matches what they believe your authority is, and you earn their trust. So you got to be very, very careful when you're trying to do this authority plays, because it can actually backfire on you, right? So I would say, first of all, be consistent and be that thought leader. Put yourself out there, share your content, own your own media. Again, be that thought leader and own the direct relationship between the prospects and customers.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we've picked a side here, right? Like, and you know, we've considered, we're like, oh my gosh, like that would be great. And a magazine that I was addicted to when I was in college was the Entrepreneur magazine, right? And part of it is I don't think I consume it anymore. And you see all these new actors, you know, the Hollywood industry, they're all now entrepreneurs, and they're all in the cover of Entrepreneur magazine. I'm like, how much?
I think they discover the value of having their own audience. And honestly, I think this is probably for a different conversation. It's kind of like they probably saw what The Rock did with his audience and the tequila and all that stuff, and they're like, look at that.
Well, not just The Rock and George Clooney too, but what I'm saying is like not to put their businesses down, but you know, in my thought process is like, okay, how much money they actually pay to be in that cover? And I think when we dug up, I guess, the information, I think it was like $10,000 to be on the cover of the Entrepreneur, right? So we're like, okay, well, for them, that's pocket change, right? It's like, hey, let's run a quick ad to be that, you know, elevates their authority in the industry, right? It puts them in front of a lot of faces, and that's the name of the game, I guess, in advertising. I personally not a big fan of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe
I would say this, and I think this is interesting, right? I think because like, I think the underlying message is kind of like that borrowing authority to develop trust, or earning the authority, right, to develop trust. Because we have a really good friend that I remember sitting with him at one of these podcasting conference not too long ago, and he told me, he's like, I would pay for media any day. Yeah. For good media, I would pay any day. Doesn't matter the price. And it makes sense, right? Because for him, he is a thought leader. So when you go to see his stuff, he is up there with the very best. So he is actually paying a lot of money to be in like Grant Cardone's podcast, right? Or John Lee Dumas' podcast. He is investing into traffic, right? He is paying to acquire the traffic. Now, the thing is, he is going to, first of all, he's acquiring quality traffic of markets that he can benefit from. And then he can back it up with his earned authority. Now, if you go to Forbes or one of these like publications, I feel like we might get sued by these guys. But you know, let's say this legacy media, right? Publications. Let's say we go to one of those. The traffic is probably not the best at this point, and like Christopehr Lochhead said here, like a lot of it is just clickbait, right? Like what color socks Elon Musk wears. Obviously, that is like to an extreme, but I've noticed it. A lot of the content is just very, very fluffy. All they want to do is clickbait, get people in, and then all the advertisers are in the page. They literally take over 75% of your screen. The advertisers, you can barely read like 2 lines before you decide to click out. But guess what? They get paid on the back end. And that's what they care for. Yeah. So you trying to borrow that authority, right? Trying to profit from that traffic, you actually get none. Because if people don't really read your article, they're going to click and then they're going to be like, oh, I'm so turned off by all these ads. Let me head out of here. Or
distracted by the ad and go to the ad. But,
yeah. So you can pay for media. Just pay the quality traffic.
I think, you know, I mean, there's 2 topics, right? Is obviously the pay for the traffic. If you find that doing this, it makes sense to your business and you actually, you know, get good leads, customers, contact prospects, whatever. Awesome. Good for you. Great. We will love to hear about it and come to the show and talk about that experience. We've never experienced. We've never done it, right? The other side of things is the people that the other side of it is like you pay to be here and then you use that as leverage for your sales page or your selling message, right? So we've been on the side of like, oh my gosh, we don't really know what's happening under the hood. And if I see that, then immediately I trust him. And again, air quotation here, I trust that person that it must be good. Now that we've seen under the hood, can we really trust it? Like, what is a secondary source that we can go consume their content? What is a third choice that we can go and learn more about them before I actually make a purchasing decision, right? So if you are on the consumer side, right, and you encounter something like this, right, dig in a little bit more, right? Maybe it takes you 2 or 3 clicks, you know, 2 or 3 more clicks to find out about their content, their thought leadership. Are they actually doing the thing that they say they do, right? And then you can make your own decision, right? So I totally get it. I get it on the marketing side. It's like placing a $7 million Super Bowl advertising, right? Mr. Beast is a good example. He actually recorded a full-blown Feastables commercial, the chocolate brand that he has, to run on the Super Bowl for $7 million. And then last second, he was like, yeah, we're not running it. I don't think the money is worth it because his publishing power is greater. Like he'll reach more people, his own customers, his own audience by publishing in his own channels. And that's exactly what he did, right? Clearly, this is a very a specific example to somebody that has been publishing and building his audience for years and years. Yeah. But that can also happen in the micro version of whatever business that we're doing, right? In your business, that's going to happen. So
dude, that is such an interesting example. And I love that you gave it. We're going to potentially extend here, but it's like, because now you have Logan Paul and KSI that they did run the Prime ad for the Super Bowl. Absolutely. But in my mind, I think the game there was more all the media that was going to come from that because they were the first kind of like creator-led product that had an ad in a Super Bowl. So a lot of people were speaking about that, and then they leveraged all that massive noise, right? I don't think it was necessarily to like, hey, let me build this brand through the Super Bowl ad. It was more like, the ripple effect of this. Let's make as much noise as possible. Is going to be crazy, right? So strategic moves.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, they're all like pieces to the marketing puzzle, which it could be interesting, right? I think we're emotionally connected to this because we've seen it. When I was reached out to get this award, at first I got excited, then I got confused, then I got enraged that this was a sales call, and then I got really pissed that we were not gonna go to Dubai.
Bro, nothing worse than a covert like sales call. Let's do a virtual coffee, and then all of a sudden they come with a freaking folder full of notes. Be like, let's start over here. This is the knife I'm gonna sell to you. I was like, what? Is this a COD code? They just knock on my door, like trying to sell me these knives. Bro, it's like door sales.
In what?
I just make
knife sales meeting you've been.
One, actually. I had a fun fact. When I was living in Dallas, So like Codco, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's like they do the door-to-door, like super high, expensive, like knife selling. And so we had this girl at the women's soccer team at our school that she decided to do that. And I remember that she was like, "Oh, can I practice this pitch? You know, like with you guys?"
Sure.
Yeah, the practice was like covert.
An actual pitch.
Actual pitch. She was actually trying to like pitch us in knives. And we're like, "No, we're broke. We're college students. We got no money to buy these knives. And we don't really care."
But here's a payment plan. Just open this credit card.
Yeah,
and,
so
you can do it.
Yeah, that's how these like people approach you. They're like, "Yeah, we have a prize for you in Dubai. You've won like best marketing category for a new business." We're like, "What? This is epic."
This is bringing so many memories.
And they like, "Yeah, it's gonna cost you $20,000."
This is I was hijacked also by a group of salesmen of an energy drink that was out, and it ended up being a pyramid scheme, and a bunch of people went to jail. But I remember how they reached out. I was like, "Hey, we love what you're doing on social media." I'm like, "What am I doing on social media?" And I was like, it was just my personal Instagram. I'm like, "This is weird." So we ended up meeting in a Panera, and they're like, "You see that BMW over there? This drink, pay for it." And I'm like, "Well, that's crazy. That's awesome, but that's also super crazy. I don't trust you." So we didn't end up doing anything.
I have the best story. You have the best story. Yeah. Look at I haven't told this in a while. Actually, I might have told it in the podcast a while back, but you know, when I was back in Texas in school, you know, all these people, you're young, you know, you feel good, you're single, you're trying to date, right? And you go into the app store and you get Tinder. So I downloaded Tinder, but there was this girl, she was beautiful. We matched and I was like, "Yes, let's go." And we started talking and she invites me. He's like, "Oh yeah, we have a get together here at someone's house. Like, do you want to come?" I was like, "Absolutely, that's awesome." And she's like, "Oh, cool, I can even pick you up." I was like, "Damn, that is so nice. I don't have a car. I appreciate it. Like, you're gonna pick me up." So she comes, she's like, "Hey, I'm outside." I walk out and it's her and a dude in the car. Right? And immediately I'm like, "Well, I thought it was just gonna be me and you, but you know, I'm always open to make friends." So
Sure.
So I sit in the car and they start talking, whatever. I meet them, and then we get to this house. It was literally a pitch for one of those like multi-level marketing for a drink. And I was like, "Yo, did this girl just match with me on Tinder to sell me into the MLM of the drink?" I was like,
she was living light years ahead of everybody on that one.
Light years ahead. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just got scammed. I just got like catfish here on Tinder." And I'm not gonna lie, I left the meeting. I mean, they do a really good job selling. Like, they are like
they sell the dream.
They're
baby.
webinar experts. Like, those people do webinars, they would be absolutely crushing it.
Yeah.
And I remember I left that thing calling my mom and be like, "Yo, mom, like, let's invest in this drink." So I'm like the easiest sell too. I was like, "Mom, like, this thing is epic." It's super. My mom was like, "Yeah, all right, cool, sounds great. Like, just get a few days, think about it, you know." Then after a few days, I come down. I was like, "All right, cool." Note to self: do not make purchasing decisions after matching with a cute girl on Tinder. I was like, it's a no.
Yeah.
So, you know, I didn't end up investing obviously on that thing, but
That's
it was crazy.
funny.
Yeah.
Fun story. I think Bumble has like a business connect thing. So, you know, if you're listening and you're part of that and you've had actual good results and good networking,
Dude,
let us know. We would love to know. Anyways, okay, this episode went south real quick.
Not south, it just went whatever it had to go, you know?
So yeah, absolutely. Covert sales, can legacy media still build your influence, and is actually legacy media dying? Good
what
episode.
was your take?
Well,
Final take.
My take is, well, right now I have a negative view towards the legacy media. Obviously, I'm gonna root for your own platform, your own thought leadership. Like, how can you build that, right? And we talk about this since we launched the show. Our experience, obviously, you know, is very small compared to bigger companies personally, but it's changed everything for us since the day that we decided to publish our own thing. And for us, that was a podcast. But like I was talking to Deidre, the CEO of Capsule earlier, it's about your content ecosystem. What are the pieces of content that you want to produce, whether it's a podcast, a YouTube, right? Micro clips. What is that ecosystem that you want to develop? And go ahead, dive in. So if you do not know where to start, or if you started and you want a little bit of direction and support, whether that's a call or whether that's on the production side, reach out to us. at the BIZBROS call on social media, and just go to bizbros.co. There should be an application up.
Yeah, we promise you it's not a covert sales call. If it's a sales call, you're going to know it. If we're just connecting, we're just going to connect. And if by any chance you're not ready to hop on a call, you can go to contentisprofit.com and then you can get access to our Facebook group as well.
Absolutely. Awesome. Okay, that's the episode. Guys,
fun.
with that said, thank you so much for tuning to the Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and follow in your favorite podcasting platform and YouTube. And on social media, at BIZBROS.
Dude, I was like, are you okay? Are you okay then?
I'm okay.
Guys, in today's episode, help you move one step closer towards your goal. Please don't forget to share it and leave a 5-star review. I have to hurry.
And.
Yeah, I had to hurry because you were like, taking your sweet time. All right, guys. See ya.
Bye, guys.